Okay, hello. Starting a new city, 2021. Well, December 26, 2020, so almost 2021. um, this map is Wood Garden, I believe, from the Industries DLC, maybe? I don't know. There's no oil on it. I might add oil later, but anyway. Um, I'm having to do a voiceover because my original audio wasn't great, so oh well. I'm going to try and do a city that for the first one or two episodes will be kind of anyone could follow along, like no mods, no, um, or if you're playing with milestones and progression, you could follow along too. So I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to keep an eye on my population, um, and try to only use things that you would have at the time of the milestone. So the first thing I look at on a map is my highway access, and I hate how highways are, I mean, they're like freeways that come in and just stop at your square, and you're supposed to grow a town from that. And in real life, you don't have freeways that come in to a tiny town, but I digress. So I'm thinking about my highway access overall for the growth of the city, and over on the right there is a big highway loop that's where I'm thinking I'm going to build my downtown, and maybe it's going to encompass that island and that little peninsula there, large peninsula. And then over on the left, I'm going to make a new highway connection that will come down, maybe bridge over to that island, or I'm thinking I'm going to have a main bridge over to those two little peaks to go to the downtown. So I'm basically just going to ignore the highway connection that is there in the starting square. And like I'm still going to use it. Like maybe I'm going to downgrade it in the future to be more of a like a country highway type thing, but I don't own the tile yet, so I won't be able to delete it. But so I'm thinking about doing an old town in that area, um, and then in the beginning you always need some industry, so I would really like to use non-pollutive farming if I can, but you really do have to use the polluting stuff for a tiny little bit until you can get the zoning unlocked for farming. Um, and so down over on this side, I'm going to have a main highway connection come in, a big like thoroughfare, maybe like a newer shopping area beyond my old town that is along the main expressway. And it will come down to the bridge and connect. So my old town will probably come out a little bit further here. And as you usually have to build a couple of neighborhoods to support until you can build like bigger things. And then the lower island I think is going to be like a nature reserve, maybe like a resort type area. I'm not really sure yet. So, let's see. Like I said, I'm ignoring this freeway here. I mean, it's still going to be used right now, but I'm not treating it as that's going to always be where it is or what it is. I'm going to have the industrial have its own highway connection, and I'm going to have the main bridge over here have its own big connection to the freeway so that this middle space will be opened up and be usable for other things like housing or maybe factories. I'm not sure. But it's going to be like, we're pretending it's an old country highway that is just going to be servicing for this area. So, in the mindset of playing as if I were having milestones on, I'm going to be only using the roads that are unlocked at this point, which is 2-lane roads. And you know, eventually they'll be upgraded into 4-lane roads, so you just want to keep that in mind. 4-lane roads are wider, so when you're upgrading, you want to keep that in mind. And then when you're planning, like something that's way in the future, like this is going to be where my bridge is. My bridge connection is going to come across the river, so I want to line that up, and I want to put down a base road that I can connect to, but I'm using a dirt road because everything has an upkeep cost. So all the roads have upkeep costs, and dirt roads cost half as much as little two-lane roads. So um, if you want to plan out a road in advance that you want to keep in mind, use a dirt road and upgrade it at a later time when you have cash flow. Um, yeah, so like I said, this road here is gonna be kind of the main thoroughfare coming through town, connecting the town area to the industrial area and then across the bridge into the downtown. So it will eventually be upgraded, and you want to not zone on it until after you upgrade it. And then out this way over here, we're gonna do industrial. Um, I don't know what I was saying in the original game there, but I'll be switching over to industrial road here in a second to go to the farming area. And the industrial roads come with the Industries DLC. Man, I really don't know what I was talking about. I think I'm talking about making it into a country highway connection um, that would have serviced just for the industries that are there. And then, look at all that farmland out there. So I'm going to put farms and then maybe some like bigger pastures and stuff, like houses with pastures, or to look like they have pastures. But first we need industry, so. Switching over to an industrial road. The industrial roads have like a higher noise, I think. Like, I don't know, I think they're just louder. Not to do with the fact that trucks are always driving on them, just that they don't, like some roads are just quieter, like the tree-lined roads have, people like to live on those streets because they're quieter. Then here I'm just looking at, like, you don't get garbage and healthcare until you have, what is it, like 150 people or something, and taxes and loans. So I'm trying not to use any of that stuff before I have people. But things like emergency services, because I'm playing with everything unlocked, I'll have to put those down sooner because my Sims know that I have that available. But I will still try to be mindful of cost so that if you're playing with milestones, you can still kind of follow along and just put that stuff down when it unlocks for you. Anyway, so here I'm planning out the industrial road. I want it to come out at an angle like this, like kind of cutting off the fertile land there, coming out to the freeway, and so I want my road to be at that angle eventually. And then with trucks, if you ever have like a tight right-hand turn, they can do it, but I just like to put a little turning cutoff there so they can turn right if they want to. And then just to keep it not so like gridded, I want to follow the angle of that road down into the downtown area. So taking it up there, I want to have like a little waterfront, it's not downtown, little old town, yeah, with like, I like to use the tax office. It's a unique building as like a little old town center type building. It looks really cute. Looks like a little old-fashioned town hall. So I'm planning to put that at the head there, up by the water. So this is just making a skeleton for my old town. Again, I'm using these 2-lane roads, and I want these eventually to be upgraded to 4-lane roads, so we are not going to zone on them. So then up by, now you notice also I leave 2 spaces or 2 units in between my zoning, because your biggest buildings are going to be 4x4. And if you upgrade those roads, both of those roads to 4-lane roads, then they'll fill up that empty space in between. But so those are going to be my commercial roads up top, and then I'm going to start using dirt roads to lay out the residential area. So here I'm holding up so you can see it's 24 cents a week for upkeep for residential roads, which in the beginning you really want to watch. If you're having money problems, like, start trying to use dirt roads more and then upgrade them later. Sometimes you can't upgrade, like when you put something like a park or or not a park, say like a dump or a cemetery, things that can't be moved when they have stuff in them, you might run into issues with dirt roads. So try to be mindful of that before you place things that can't be moved later. And then here I'm thinking about my cross streets now and where I want to put my little tax office, city hall type building. Um, so I want to have my commercial up top there and housing off behind it. I'll expand the neighborhood over to the right here after a while when the time comes. And then, let's see, what am I doing now? I think I'm just doing my cross streets. So this is going to be the center here is for my little downtown, not downtown, town center. Small town center. So I want to just go ahead and zone in my commercial for those. And then I like to leave space in between for walkways or just, like an old town center. There's not commercial on top of commercial on top of commercial. There's spaces in between. And then moving on from the sides of that, maybe, in a small town, like littler commercial would come up on the sides, maybe in the future. So I'm going to put housing there for now, but maybe when there's more demand, we'll put commercial out to the sides. Now what am I thinking about? I'm leaving a space open for a park there at the head of the town, like kind of between the housing and the commercial area, so a little city park, and then off behind that I'm going to have, closer to the bottom of the screen, I'm going to have schools. So I'm trying to not zone where I'm going to have all that stuff so that I don't have to move a bunch of people out later. So I like to leave a space for walkways, especially behind commercial, and just a little bit of a buffer, and then a space again on the side for where I'm going to upgrade that road and there's going to be a space. It's going to take up another tile, so I'm going to leave a space so that I'm going to leave 2 tiles instead of just 1, so that a house will never grow facing the main street on the side. It'll always grow facing the smaller streets. And then I want to put in my crossroads before houses grow in, so I'm going to have a park there in the center area, have the park connect to the center of that street I just put in, and then this is going to be where I put my schools in this block here. So that'll be kind of in the center of all the houses. And then up there, I'm not quite sure yet what I want to do. I do have, it's the main street and it's going to be upgraded, so I don't want to zone along it yet because it's going to become wider. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be commercial there. And I have some themes installed. It doesn't change the gameplay at all, but I have some themes installed of like a trailer park. So I think I want to put in like a little trailer park behind my commercial street front there. So I'll get to that in a little. So coming up next, I want to do the water pipes. And in City Skylines, you can just lay water pipes wherever you want to. But I like to watch the city planner who plays City Skylines, and he puts them all under roads, which works quite well, actually. Some people will say, oh, you're wasting so much money, but if you space your roads apart like this, that have the little, 12 spaces apart and have the little gap in the middle, then you can line up your pipes underneath them and it covers all the zoning squares. And I just like it because it makes it a little bit more realistic as far as the game can go, but I'm not a super realist. I'm not gonna keep it super perfect all the time. I just like to do it when I can. And then I'm putting in a water pump down there, and I will put in an eco water outlet at some point, which comes with the Green Cities DLC, but I think I don't know what I was talking about there. So we have water. We're gonna need power. which is unfortunate. Oh, here we go. Putting in our eco water outlet. I'm going to put it way over there, which usually, if I were super constrained by water, I mean by money, I would put it a little bit closer, maybe like half again as close, and then move it later. But I'm not super constrained with money, starting how I am, so I'm gonna put it over there. So next up, I think is power. Yeah, these things need power. So I usually like to start with as green a power as I can get. The wind turbines are the least expensive option, and I'll put down two, one or two, two to start with. Um, the wind, the way it works in this game is kind of silly. It's like the more turbines you put down, the less wind you have. Like it eats it, which is not how wind works at all. But that's okay. And then I'm going to use these. There's the main power line that comes with the game, but I'm going to use these assets that I downloaded that are more like a normal looking, I guess, suburban power lines, and they don't change the gameplay at all. If anything, actually, the suburban one I'm using, it has a higher upkeep cost. So for me, it is more expensive to use that instead of what you would have in the game, in vanilla, I mean. And then let's see what's coming up next. We did power. So, oh, I'm talking about zoning and stuff here. Um, so right now I just have a bunch of residential demand, and that is your green zoning. So I'm gonna zone a bunch of residential up to where it should connect to our power, which is down at the bottom there. And buildings will pass power between them. You'll see in a minute I will show the little power bubble going through, but unfortunately I didn't zone in the right spot first, so they're going to complain that they don't have power yet, and we're just going to wait for these buildings to grow in until their little lightning bubble grows and turns to red. You don't really have to worry before they start abandoning their houses. So we're just going to wait for this, there we go, for this power to grow through. So that blue bubble is where the power is around all the buildings, and you don't have to keep building power lines. So that's good. So anyway, so now once you get a little bit of residential and commercial going, it starts wanting only industrial zones. And I eventually want to have farming going over here. I just want to have like a big farm, make it like as if originally this was just a farming community. So I want to do a farm, but I realize I don't have enough people that it would have unlocked the zoning for that yet. So I'm going to try and hold off and not do the farming. But the problem is, and I'm also having police problems, because I'm not playing with the milestones, I have the police unlocked already, and so my people are complaining that they don't have it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it down. And it's just going to cost me a bunch of money. Each of these things are like $10,000 or $15,000 for police and fire, but your residents stop growing when they aren't getting the services they need. So unfortunately for me, I have to put it in. It might be a little early for if you're playing with milestones, but when you are playing with milestones, you get like little cash influxes at each milestone to be able to afford to put these buildings in. So that should help. But anyway, so now you can see I'm getting a little bit more residential demand with having put those services in. But it's still, unfortunately, a lot of industrial demand. So I'm going to go ahead and paint in an industrial district here. And I hate putting in pollutive industry. It turns the ground purple. Residents get sick if they live near it. It's really ugly, and it's just annoying in general. So I always try to not use it, but in the very beginning, it's kind of a necessary evil, and let's face it, that's how it is in real life. Or at least it was in like the 50s and 60s, till the tree huggers came along. So I need to get power up there. And of course, where I want to put the power line is not where they've started to grow yet. Oh well. So we're just gonna wait and see if they hopefully grow all the way along there and get their power through. Oh no, the little red bubbles. See, those are the red bubbles. They will start abandoning if after those little bubbles turn red. So I just stuck in a power line there real quick for them, and they'll be happy. So what's next? I'm noticing I'm at like 475 population, and at that point I would have unlocked some new zoning laws. So I can go ahead and zone. I can't do the Industries DLC stuff yet, but I can use vanilla zoning for industries and start to zone in some farming, just like old-fashioned vanilla farming, which is, not as good as the industry stuff in my mind, but in my opinion, I mean, but it's better than old-fashioned industry. I mean, yeah, the pollutive stuff. So now we're running into all sorts of problems. I've got power problems, I've got trash problems, I haven't messed with my budget at all, and I'm losing a bunch of money. So I'm gonna put my water bill. I'm looking at the right hand side of the how much it's costing me. I'm gonna put my water down. I'm also gonna put my trash budget down because I'm about to put down trash collection. Um, but I can't put my electricity down because I'm running out of electricity. So I'll put in a couple more windmills. Here we go. And I need trash collection, which stinks. So, because I've zoned in the farming up there on the left, you notice it's not growing in yet because my industry demand is met. So I'm going to put these recycling centers, which come with green cities. I'm going to put them over my old pollutive industries so that the demand for that industry will move over to the farming area, hopefully. And why are we still having sewage problems? Because I don't have enough of a budget, of course. So, in the beginning, balancing your budget is a pain in the butt, but it's a necessary evil. Oh, and look, I have dead people. Great. So, this is what starts happening. I'm gonna need to work on some death care here, and I guess I didn't see it yet, and I wanted to start doing elementary school. I usually like to wait until you have about 100 people wanting to go to school before I put them in. So we'll stick in the elementary school. It will help with residential demand. You'll start getting a lot more residential demand. So I'm going to put in some more zoning for that because people like to go to school. And I'm going to save a space here for my high school. And I have an asset that is like a track and field stadium that I want to put behind it. It really just functions as a park. So you could put, like in the vanilla game, I would put up parks, like basketball courts or whatever, next to my high school. So I'm going to leave a space for that and zone in that. And then over here, I'm going to put my trailer park area. I want to connect that school road to the main road, make it like a little bit of a miniature avenue to go through to the main road because that is kind of the main central area, but now I'm having death problems, so I need to put in a cemetery. Cemeteries cannot be moved once you put them down, or once you start getting dead bodies in there, I should say. So I'm trying to put this where I know I won't need to move it. I'm going to have my residential continue out this way, so I put in that little road to mark it, and I'm just going to put my cemetery going off of there. And cemeteries are great. They function as parks, kind of. I mean, they function as dead people picker-uppers, but residents like to live near cemeteries for some reason. I mean, they do have churches, so they make like a little ringing bell sound, and that's nice. But so now let's look at the school availability again. I have not quite enough eligible for high school yet. It would just be a waste of money to put it in at this point. But so like your Sims, they come in and they're uneducated always, and they age up and they go through your schooling process. So you just have to wait until they're old enough and educated enough to want a high school. And so you put in your elementary, you're good for a while until you need a high school, and then you're good for quite a while more until you need a university area. And I don't know. Oh, I think I was looking at my milestone progression here. Oh, I wanted to put in a park, but you don't get parks unlocked until 1,000 people. So I'm gonna work on something a little different. I'm gonna work on a trailer park. Not quite a park, but a trailer park. That's nice and desirable, right? So I think trailer parks are always kind of in the area, the least desirable area, aren't they? So, kind of like subsidized housing. And so that main avenue up top is going to have a strip of commercial along it. So I'm going to put in my theme here. And if you're playing on consoles, sorry, you can't get themes and mods. But if you're playing on PC, I like themes a lot. They really help with the look of your city, rather than just zoning boring the same residential everywhere. You can get building themes, and then there's creators on the workshop who have made collections of houses. And this person made a collection of trailer park homes. So I'm putting in these little like driveways, because if you've ever been to a trailer park, they have little driveways, or side streets kind of, where 3 or 4 trailers are on, just to give them all each their own kind of little cul-de-sac. And I'm putting them pretty close together. The asset is only like, I think the biggest ones are like 3 by 3 squares. So you might get some that have a little more land around them than others, but all the trailers themselves are about the same size. And let's see, I'm gonna put in my theme here. So click on themes, you have to enable the theme, and then I have my American trailer homes, and I got to zone it, and they'll start growing in. They're super cute. I really like this. I just really like themes. They're a lot of fun. I was trying to do it on the last city I played, and the mod was conflicting with something else I had, and I couldn't do it. So I'm really happy that I got it working this time, because they're super cute. And then I think I unlocked pathways a while ago, so I'm going to start putting some pathways through. It's always a good idea to put in pathways, making things as walkable as possible for your Sims. They will walk a really long ways, the ones that do want to walk. Some of, like, I think it's like 80% of them will drive whenever they can, but there's like 10% of people that'll walk, and then there's 10% of people that will take public transport. So they, I mean, that's what it just seems like to me. I don't know if that's an actual stat. That's just what I've noticed. And then I decided I wanted this little section to have its own different style of houses. So I'm going to put in another theme there of, let's see what it is. Is it European suburbia, and those are, again, just they're just assets. They don't change the way the game is played at all. So if you're following me on vanilla, you can just zone it in normal residential and it'll be fine. But for me, it just changes the look of the city, and I like to play my cities for quite a while, so I want them to look pretty and look how I want. So here come my little trailer homes. Gosh, I just think they're so cute. Uh, they just, it just adds something different. It's a different texture. And I tend to like smaller lots in general because I think you get maybe like the same or almost the same amount of households in them. I could be totally wrong. I'm not sure. But to me, it seems like it's pretty equivalent to like a 2x2 lot gets the same amount of people as a 4x4 lot. And if that's the case, why not just zone all 2x2 lots? Because you can fit a lot more people. But I'm probably totally wrong on that. You can correct me if you want to. Um, anyway, just finishing up putting in some walkways there. And I don't know if I ever zoned in the rest of, no, I put in that theme and I didn't zone in the residences there. So there we go. That little block will grow in and it'll have the different European suburbia theme. And we're almost at 1,000 people. I'm almost able to put in parks, which I'm kind of waiting on. So my high school, it's 75 people. It's enough. It's enough to warrant putting it in. I just kind of want to put in a school so that my residential demand will keep going up, because the more services you give people, the more people want to live there. And it's just this whole cyclical thing. You put in, and here I just raised the taxes up. 12% is the sweet spot. If you don't know, that you can raise the taxes to 12 and they won't complain. So I am trying to get more taxpayers in at this point. I'm trying to make my city profitable, because at this point it's still not, and it probably won't be until like the end of the next episode either. That's just how starting out cities goes. I'm also playing again without milestones. I just have everything unlocked, so I start out with like $700,000, but you can't keep losing money forever. You have to make money at some point. So I'm trying to keep it profitable so that if someone's playing with milestones, trying to kind of follow along with this, it will work for them as well. But anytime you hit a milestone, especially in the beginning, you get a little influx of cash to help. And oh look, I've hit 1,000 people here, so I am going to put in my parks. Yay! So that's the main park I wanted to put there, mostly because it has walkways you can snap to, and I'm going to use my Move It mod here just a little bit. I don't like to use Move It mod when you couldn't easily just live with it being off-center in vanilla, but I don't have to, so I'm not going to. But I always try to, especially in these first few episodes, I'm going to try to not use Move It mod in a way that completely changes the gameplay. So I think I'm just talking about walking paths again. I like this park because it has walking paths you can snap to, and you want to give people access, and people want to get to the schools, and they also want to get to the commercial. So I'm going to put these walkways from the schools through to this park, and then they can walk down to the commercial area eventually. I don't know what I'm talking about so much here, but I will put in walkways at some point. I was talking about this. The large playground also has walkways you can connect to. And, I'm putting in my high school stadium asset. I love this thing. It's like a track and field stadium. I wish something like this came in the game, or came with like the stadium stuff. Like for the universities, there are like big sports arenas, but for high schools, there's always a track and field or something. So the closest thing you have in the game, there's like some basketball or some tennis courts that you can put in. But I like this asset. I think it's neat. It just functions as a park, so um, it will attract other people, not just high school students, to it. So I'm going to put it walkways all around it. I'm going to put walkways cutting behind the high school. I'm going to worry about my budget because I'm still losing money. And oh, come on, sewer. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just gonna ignore that until it fixes itself because I can. Maybe I need another sewer outlet actually. Oh, who knows? And I have a fire, and I have. Okay, we're just hitting a point where the problems are growing, and I'm going to just kind of end it here for right now, and we'll deal with that next time. So I hope this helped if you want to do a start out city. This, again, is going to be an old highway connection. I'm going to buy that tile next time and take that highway out or freeway out and make it into like an old country highway type of thing. With mass transit, you have just, a normal surface highway type of road. So, yeah, I hate how the base game puts in freeways coming in. It's super unrealistic unless you were just to be one of those people that plans out like a whole downtown right from the get-go. But I am not one of those people. I like to start out towns how they actually start. And yeah, so looking forward to the future, I'm gonna have uh, continue to grow the neighborhoods down in this area, down off to the side. I want the industrial to have the connection up to the freeway, and I want a newer suburban area to have a connection up to the freeway over on that side. Maybe putting a bridge over to that island, I don't know yet, but the main bridge will be across to the downtown. So I hope this was helpful to somebody. I'm looking forward to expanding it in the future. I'm going to buy the next tile in the next episode and continue to grow. And of course, I have a fire. Look at that. I don't have helicopters yet, so the trees are just going to stay on fire. Oh well. Um, anyway, we'll continue to expand this little neighborhood next time and grow and hopefully start turning a profit. And we'll start to get rid of this pollutive industry. And we will start zoning in or putting in our industry, our farming area, and hopefully connect to the freeway next time.